Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Faizuddin bin Mahmudin. I'm from group A4AS1201B. Okay. Today I would like to share about I would like to explain about ocean acidification. What is ocean acidification? Acidification is the process whereby ocean waters increase in acid concentration and the pH level falls beyond normal. There are many things that contribute to this occurrence. Salinity can be simply explained and understood as the amount of salt concentration. Also, the ocean water has some level of pH and is mostly rated on the higher side of the neutral pH and on the pH scale. There are certain times that the ocean experiences change in its nature. This can encompass the increase in the ocean of seawater acidity. Again, the ocean acidification process can also be explained as a situation where the level of carbon dioxide in the water increases drastically. This may be influenced by some human activities such as burning of fossil fuels that can cause harm to the atmosphere. What are the causes of the ocean acidification? First is the rise of carbon dioxide concentration in the ocean. When the level of carbon dioxide gets higher in the ocean, it obviously affects the whole water. When sea organisms die on the seabeds, their remains pile up and form corals, which is consisting of carbons. Also, these organisms release calcium into the water. These compounds have a far-reaching detrimental impact on the composition of the water as they add acidity. The second is raised carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere. Sometimes the harm induced in the atmosphere can spread into the waters. This is when carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere through various human activities. This in turn contaminates water because the carbon gases get to be dissolved in the sea waters, and this lowers the pH of the water, contributing to acidification. The third is higher concentration of hydrogen ions in the water. At the seabeds, there are some chemical reactions that may take place, and they can have negative impacts on the quality of the ocean water. Such reactions may include the increase in hydrogen ions, which, when combined with other compounds such as nitrogen, water, among other gases, and their reaction leads to ocean water acidity. So, the effect of the acidification is increase the carbon dioxide concentration in the ocean. Ocean acidification does not only change the pH of the ocean water. As a matter of fact, it also changes the gases concentration in the ocean, and to be particular, it increases the concentration of carbon dioxide. This is because of the reaction between carbon dioxide and water molecules to form more carbonic acid, and when it rains on the water masses, the level of carbon concentration rises further and further instead of subsiding as more carbon dioxide is absorbed to form more carbonic acid. This may lead to suffocation and even death of marine creatures. The second is loss of aquatic life. The seawater supports life at its normal conditions. Nevertheless, when the pH level is lowered or raised, some organisms are affected. Some of the aquatic include various types of fish, mammals such as whales, sharks, and many more. An increase in acidity makes living cumbersome and almost impossible of some living things. This leads to the disappearance or death of some organisms in the aquatic ecological environment. The third is food shortage. Ocean acidification contributes to the problem of food shortage in many ways, which fish die, humans who depend on them or food and livelihood are hit by the socio-economic problems. This process also contributes to acidic waters, which have a more devastating effect on agricultural production. Acidic water results in increase in soil acidity. Such a thing makes it impossible for the cultivation and production of certain crops. This leads to low production and starvation. The last is food web interference. Ocean acidification leads to the death and disappearance of some plants and animals in the sea. When some organisms become extinct, their dependents are also threatened because they have nothing to feed on. Okay, we move to the solution to ocean acidification. First, strict and relevant regulations. Human actions are being guided by the policies of the land. The first step towards the fight against ocean acidification can be commenced through the ratification and legislation that can ensure that the waste handling, among other pollution risk activities, is controlled. Such regulation would spread to the fisheries department to ensure that safety is maintained in food consumption. The second is civil education. Governments and international organizations can come up with some platforms where they educate or sensitize the common citizen on the risks posed by climate change and ocean acidification. Such initiatives can instill some self-triggered discipline that acts as guidance for the quest for environmental conservation. The third is consuming only the right fish. In any case, an increase in acidity would make fish consumption a risky affair. This is why the authorities would be tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that only the less harmless fish find their way into the market. This can be very helpful in reducing the chances of having food poisoning and carbon gas circulation in the environment. The fourth is the last is reducing the consumption of carbon-oriented energy sources. The presence of a high concentration of carbon in the atmosphere can be attributed to various human activities, which can be controlled to some extent. Carbon emitted from fossil fuels can be reduced through the minimization of the use of such fuels. Adopting the use of alternative or renewable energy sources can be the best available option. Diversification of energy sources such as the use of solar and wind as the alternative energy sources can be significantly pay off. When there is reduced carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere, there will be a resultant change in the ocean. The other viable option that can be reliable to geothermal, which is environmentally friendly. Geothermal power can be such an initiative because it comes with less emission of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. This would reduce the chances of contaminating the ocean waters. Okay, the conclusion from this ocean acidification is due to ocean acidification, the ocean capacity as carbon store is diminishing. If nothing is done to help curb ocean acidification, its negative impact may be felt on the marine environment, local communities, and all the way up through the global economy. That's all from me. Thank you and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.